Oh my god, do you hear that intro music? It's so good, and me, Robinson, finally learned how to add it to a podcast. Hello everybody, it's me, Robinson, also known as Polka Dot Man's estranged father.
And it's me, Stanley, also known as Harley Quinn's lesbian lover Ivy.
And it's me.
And today we have a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, even though I interrupted you. My bad.
It is me, Dinette, and I like wine.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
I know.
Just like that, we hit every demographic available.
So, no.
Today on our very special episode of Movie Butter, we're discussing The Good Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn, The Suicide Squad 2021. I personally really like this movie. I'm not going to give it a 5 out of 5. I am giving it a 4.5 out of 5. If you have an HBO Max subscription, watch it. If you don't, go to the movies or pay $15 just to watch this movie. It is fantastic for anybody who's into action or superheroes. What y'all think about it?
Well, I think for me, I honestly, as someone who unironically thought the first one was okay for a DC movie, I thought that the second one was essentially basically Marvel come to the DC. That's kind of my take on it, and I liked that. I thought it was good. I was here for it. I was here for Ratcatcher 2. I was here for King Shark, voiced by the infamous Sylvester Stallone. And
wait, he's infamous? I thought we liked him.
No, I'm sorry. I guess infamous in a good way. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is it really a good way?
I mean, what is it? One of the Rambo movies, he had 5 pages of dialogue. Out of an entire, 90-minute movie, there were 5 pages of dialogue in Rambo. And I remember this because I went to go see this in high school with my boyfriend, and he was like, this movie had nothing. And I was like, yeah, let me look it up. And people were criticizing it for having 5 pages. Just 5.
And can I just say that it's amazing that you know that? This is one of the reasons I love you. How do you know this stuff?
How do I know this stuff? I know this stuff because I am a fucking complaining bitch. That's what I do. I complain. I'm neurotic. There's a reason why Robinson has me on, and I don't know what it is. But it has to do with something about me being so upset about things. I have to research it, and I have to know what is going on. But
yes, step right up. See the man who was never satisfied.
You know, man, it happens. It fucking happens all the time. And I just sit here and I'm just like, maybe I should just drop it. No.
No. Without that, we don't have a show.
I know, but because I've done a 20-minute rant about Pokemon.
Yes.
And in one of those rants, I called Lickitung the cunnilingus of Pokemon. So I have fucking no, say. If anyone's like, oh, that person complains, I can't be like, yeah, they complain. Because I'm over here like the fucking meme where I'm looking away.
And you know what? To be completely honest, in terms of DC movies, we've had a right to complain. In terms of the movies that they've been pumping out, I think the last good one before Suicide Squad, I believe, was Wonder Woman. I really like Wonder Woman, and the sequel was awful. Wonder Woman 1984 was terrible, but
I still haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, it's not good. But anyway, I don't want to talk about my hurt feelings. But it was really refreshing to watch a good DC movie. You know what I mean? Something that wasn't terrible.
Great, Dinette. What did you think of the movie?
Well, I did like it. I was a little surprised by the gore, but the first one, I really was kind of biased because I am just all about girl power, and I thought that the first one, Harley Quinn came off as amazing.
Yeah.
It was
Margot Robbie kills it in both films.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She really, really does. And the first one was I want to say a little darker maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
I
little
think there was a
darker.
really big twist because they changed directors halfway through.
Yes.
So the tone shifted a
Yes,
lot.
it was a little darker. This one, even though it had more, blood and guts and gore,
Yeah.
it was still light, besides the killing and the murdering and the blowing up.
It was a great time.
It was
for
a
the
good
family,
time. Yes, it
with
was a
the
good time for the
exception of
children.
a shark eating someone. Yeah.
Nom,
Look,
nom.
little Jimmy. People are made out of Swedish fish.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I would give it my rating of go see it. Honestly, I think that DC needs more love because after the fucking shitty pile of shit that they've given us over the year, this is actually the first time to be like, hey, DC, you can do the exact same thing Disney does. Just don't fuck it up. Keep going.
Just be
Yeah.
good.
Now, I do feel like I do need to bring up the point of 1984 and just kind of piggyback off what Robinson said. It was a terrible, terrible, terrible long ass movie. It was
Really?
just long for no reason. It was bad. It basically needs to be wiped from all memory, kind of like a Men in Black type of situation. Just kind of just wipe it out of our memory. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to go forth and be the guinea pig for this because that movie needs to be just wiped from the face of the earth.
I think we call that alcohol in a brick. That's
Yes.
yeah, dude. I don't know. Because
Glad we could agree.
I think because here's my thing, right? The first movie I actually liked because can I just say like Viola Davis is like the fucking best actor in both the movies.
Yes. You hate
She's-
her, but you
she's
still love her.
She's so convincing in
Yes.
both of them.
Yes.
Right? And it's so weird that she was such an A-tier actor in this movie. And they had all other A-tier actors in this movie too. Margot Robbie's not someone that's from the B list, right?
Yeah.
She's been an Academy Award winner.
Yes, yes.
And they had the talent. It just shows how if you have a director with vision for what they want and they know the source material, then they can make something just great like this one.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah. I don't know. Kudos to James Gunn for actually doing the impossible and making a good DC movie.
Now, do you think, and I'm going to say this from, maybe a teacher point of view,
Oh, okay.
that she represents what kind of America is? We're willing to fuck, fuck over anyone.
So,
Yeah?
Amanda Waller in the comic books and even the Batman animated TV show was seen more as somebody who Batman was forced to work with because Amanda Waller and Batman's philosophy on how to handle criminals are very different. And it's always noted that Amanda Waller's at heart interest isn't keeping America safe. Her at heart interest is keeping people under control. Which is something that I like that they explored in this movie because in the first one, of course, Viola Davis, fantastic actress, perfect for being, such a bitch in the movies. Like, it's easy to be someone to hate, but it is hard being just such a cold person. But in the first movie, they didn't push that envelope that she is the one who wants to be in control of everything. They didn't push that side of her, which I was disappointed in, that I love seeing in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Because that end scene where she doesn't care about the city, mission's done, and go home. She doesn't care that they want to save the city. She only cares that they're not following her orders. And I really like how they showed that off in this one.
Yeah. I actually think, because I was thinking about this, right? So I was thinking about what would be the representation for America in this one, and I think honestly Peacemaker has to be the representation
Really?
for America. Yeah, because think about it, like we always proclaim America to be like the world's police force and the peace bringers, the democracy bringers, and how we go about it is that we try to bring peace, but ultimately we like stab it in the canoe, or stab it in the, what is it, remember the guy in the scene where the Peacemaker gets his axe and he's just chopping the guy from his legs up that's hanging from the hammock.
Yes.
And yeah, that's what we do. Like we just mess it up, and then we mess it up, and then it's just a fucking nightmare, and things are dead, and like the world's worse off. And the Peacemaker, his thing was like, I don't care how what I have to do to get peace. I will
With a
kill
little bit of
every man.
remorse.
Yeah.
A little bit of remorse, but I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah. And I think it really is because remember at the end when like we had the flash drive, Peacemaker's like, "Don't make me do this" to the soldier. He's like, "You're a hero, sir. I don't want to do this," and Peacemaker is really hesitating on that one, which is kind of like America's almost like I don't want to say self-masturbatory, but like it really is though. It is that kind of thing of like the patriotism is really owned and like honoring the troops, but America will do whatever it can to keep what it thinks of as being the peace. And yeah, I think Waller is just a good representation for basically she's a villain, she's just behind a desk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you see her as a villain though?
I honestly, out of like all of them, I think she's honestly the true villain of the film. I really do. And I think I think especially in the first film, she is the true villain of the film, right? Because she's making this project, she's doing this thing, and she's responsible for all of the destruction and everything. But I think in the second movie, she's more complex and more well thought out to that. So I'm not actually sure. I take my statement back a little bit. I think I'm not actually sure about the second movie, whether or not I would consider her to be like the villain. But I do think that she's an anti-hero in like the strongest sense of the word.
As all of them are, but I do think she does represent some of the, when you think about some of the agencies that are in the U.S., the ultimate goal is to protect the country.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter who we have to kill, no matter who we have to use, that's gonna be the goal. So I don't think she's seen by most as a villain because she is ultimately protecting our great nation.
Yeah, but does that really give anyone credit though if they like what was it like with Blackwater? Because Blackwater, they were outside contractors hired by the U.S. government, similar to like the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
And what do? They gun down people in Iraq and Afghanistan.
But where was the uproar? There was really no uproar about you know Blackwater. So
that's why I feel like in the DC universe, if it came out that Suicide Squad was actual thing, they wouldn't give a shit. They wouldn't. I'm not joking. Like I really do think that like this Suicide Squad is really a perfect like allegory for like American Black Ops in the history behind that too. Yes. We don't give a fuck about Cuba until it's relevant.
And real quick. I love Peacemaker's character, and I do want to talk about him later. But before we get too deep into the episode, let's give a quick rundown of the events that happened in the episode.
Sorry, this is what happened.
The episode, the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Into the movie, yes. Please go before I start talking again.
Not the episode. No, because that's why we keep you here. You know things instead of you complain, but you know things.
That's my problem is that I know things. If I didn't, I wouldn't complain.
I thought Blackwater is just what we call Coke in the South. Anyways. So, the Suicide Squad starts off with what we call the B team, a mishmash of, D-list villains. We got Savant, Javelin, Captain Boomerang, Blackguard, Mongol, TDK, the Detachable Kid, Weasel, along with Harley Quinn and their leader Rick Flag, who's just an all-American, just a good soldier. They all die immediately because they were all a diversion. Well, Rick Flag and Harley Quinn survived. They were all a diversion for the A team, consisting of Bloodsport, a man who put Superman in the ICU, King Shark. I'm pretty sure he's a Flash or Aquaman villain, who threatens the sea. Ratcatcher, a really left field pick, a woman who can control rats with her device. The Peacemaker, as we talked about, a man who is willing to keep the peace no matter who he has to kill. And my favorite, Polka Dot Man, because I set up a little thing about the some character origins, and I can't wait to get to Polka Dot Man.
Okay.
Anyways, so they arrive to the island of Canto Martis, right? A Spanish island that's recently been taken over in a military coup by some would-be dictators. Now, the reason the Suicide Squad were sent in is because on this island, they're inhabiting a super secret project called Project Starfish. The starfish in question is Starro the Destroyer, named by the Thinker, who's your basic, like, world-destroying alien, right? Just, yeah, exactly. He can control people's minds, gonna conquer the world, right? So they've been tasked to shut it down. We skip forward a little bit. It turns out that the real reason we were sent here to shut it down was because of America's involvement in Project Starfish. This was a black ops operation to use the alien menace as a weapon. And since the military coup, they no longer had a handle on Project Starfish. So the real reason they sent everybody in was to destroy evidence of their involvement. Now Peacemaker and the rest of the team fight on this, ultimately driving Peacemaker to kill Rick Flag and driving Bloodshot to kill Peacemaker. In the end, they defeat Starro the Destroyer, losing, unfortunately, the GOAT, Polka Dot Man. But using the evidence of the U.S. involvements, they were able to get Amanda Waller off their back and buy their freedom.
And that is the start of Suicide Squad 2, the Suiciding. Or I don't know.
And also, super secret credit scene. Turns out that Peacemaker isn't dead, and they're going to make an HBO spin-off series, and I'm super excited for that.
Dude, how insane does that have to be? Because I don't watch wrestling. Like, I know that pro wrestling is basically like soap operas, but for people
who like
that,
to punch each other.
That
Don't
are
get me
into-
started on John Cena, please. Please.
Okay.
Woo, please.
But I don't know what he looks like.
This man is terrible.
There was just a floating helmet the entire movie.
I want to know who his agent is, because this person is a fucking genius.
Yeah, you know.
Because how does John Cena still keep getting work?
Dude.
Because he's the best goddamn actor in the world. All right? Don't you dare disrespect the 5-time United States champion, 6-time WWE champion. I'm making those numbers up.
You're making those numbers, okay.
I used to be a massive WWE fan.
My
but real quick,
gosh.
before we get started with anything, I have the origins of the B team. Because I was really... I was interested because the only member on the B team I recognized was Mongol, right? So I actually ran through to get some information. Now, Savant, Michael Rooker's character, the guy who runs off screaming like a baby and then gets his head popped. So he was basically a spoiled little rich kid who moved to Gotham to become a self-styled vigilante like Batman. But Batman said, "Bro, you're not cut out for this." So after getting his ass handed to him by the Birds of Prey, he became one of their sort of friends. Like, fine, I'll help out. Javelin. We don't know Javelin's real identity. He was a German Olympic athlete who became a sadistic and violent Green Lantern villain for unknown reasons. We don't know his name, and we don't know why he became insane. But basically, he would rob banks with weaponized javelins.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, isn't a javelin a weapon in its own fucking sense, right? I mean, it's literally a spear.
And he was an Olympic athlete. He could hit you from 100 yards away.
I mean, yeah, but it depends on which athlete he's a part of, right? Obviously, it'd have to be the javelin, because if he was like a discus thrower, then he wouldn't throw for shit. I know.
Aha,
Okay.
take this, bank walls. Now, Captain Boomerang was actually much more fleshed out. So, George Digger Harkis, Digger as, one of those monikers, he's a recurring enemy of the Flash, a member of the Rogues Gallery. And his story is that he was the illegitimate son of a famous toy maker, right? So he grew up in Australia with his mom and his super abusive stepfather. And when he turned 18, they tried robbing a general store, failed. The stepfather kicked him out, and mom said, "Go to America and find your real papa." And so he did, right? And
Robinson,
he did.
Robinson, I think we're talking about an Australian man, not a Mexican woman.
That's fine. We're okay.
Find your papa.
So he goes to America to find his father, and his father was looking for somebody to be the spokesman. So for the brand new Boomerang toy. So that's his origin, Captain Boomerang. He started selling toys, and then he was like, "Ah, fuck this. I'm back to robbing stuff." But he kept the name. Also, Blackguard. Real name Dick Hertz. Not joking.
Huh?
Yeah, Dick
Okay.
Hertz.
Yeah.
Earth.
Dude,
I
don't know.
didn't recognize him because the costume was awful. Because Blackguard, he's dressed like a crusader. Like he's got a red ponytail and everything on his helmet, and it's beautiful. But he's an enemy of Booster Gold, and he was just hired. Yeah, he was hired by the 1000. Presumably, he already had a criminal career before becoming a thug. Mongol, your typical alien warlord, right? Like, she rules this planet, wants to take over Earth, but Superman, kicks her ass. Now, here are the two that I was saving because I thought it was hilarious. Now, TDK, the detachable kid,
Great.
right?
Slap
So-
the helmets, man.
So, he doesn't exist.
Oh wow.
Oh, really?
TDK was actually inspired by real DC would-be hero, Arms Fall Off Boy. I am not making that up. And he
Arms.
looks like he looks like a starfish wrapped in a ribbed condom, and I'm not making that up either. I will send photos. Anyways, Arms Fall Off Boy has the incredible power to detach his arms. That's it. He can't control them telekinetically. He can just pull them off and whack people with them. And all his story is that he tried to enlist as a member of the Legion of Superheroes, and he was their first ever rejected member.
I mean, he's literally a liability, though, right? Like, that's it.
It's
What
like,
would you
oh
do?
no, they took my arms. Now
Oh,
what?
shit. Yeah. I could not. I don't know how that person would ever think that they could become a superhero. Because what could they do? They can't
They
do it
can whack you.
telekinetically. They could
They can
whack
whack
you.
you.
Okay, fine. Yeah, but that's it, right? Like, maybe I could fit myself in a suitcase, but that's not, like, a superpower, right? We have gymnasts that are flexible that are able to fit in suitcases. So,
But can Gabby Thugless throw her arm for the coolest high five ever?
dude,
That's
that's
what I
something we're just
thought.
gonna have to see in the next Tokyo Olympics in 2085.
So, and I wasn't kidding. He dressed like a starfish, and he has ribbed condoms for gloves.
Oh
Anyways,
my god. Okay.
now Weasel.
Oh yes.
yeah.
This is the one that really got me, because my favorite quote in the movie is Rick Flag. Did anybody check if the Weasel
Was
can
it
swim?
swim?
So the
Yeah.
Weasel is a villain of Firestorm, and here's his backstory. So
Okay.
the Weasel is a man called John Monroe who was bullied throughout his entire life, right?
Oh, wow.
And they would call him, because he was a skinny little man, they called him the Weasel, right? So he ends up graduating and gets a job at Vandermeer College. Vandermeer College is also, I believe, the doctor who gave Firestorm his powers. I'm a little iffy on my Firestorm lore. But, so, John Monroe's bullies was at Vandermeer College. So he's like, oh no, these are my bullies. The people who called me Weasel my entire life. You know what? It's time for my revenge. So he dresses like a weasel and kills them. That's not a joke. He doesn't have weasel powers. He dresses up like a weasel and then goes kill them.
Okay. Great. So it's like a serial killer, but with extra steps. Then. You know
I
how
mean, he
like
does-
John
he-
Wayne
he
Gacy
does
had
it-
to put on makeup in order to kill people. I guess.
I mean, he did have sharp claws and
Yes.
sharp
Oh.
teeth.
Yes,
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did. The costume was
just,
pretty nice.
I mean,
He's
I
just a
don't-
furry.
I'm just surprised that he was so like anthropomorphized. I guess like somewhere they retconned that he was like experimented and made into a weasel. Cause
Never in the comics. Only
never
in
in the comic. Okay, only in the movie. All right, because
I searched.
that's one hell of a fursuit, my guy. If that it was him as a regular human.
And the children part, like how
Yeah, he
he's
murdered
killed-
23
Yeah, he was
children.
murdered.
Don't worry, he's harmless.
Except for he murdered 23 kids. Like,
Yes.
who gives a
But-
fuck about these kids?
Fuck 'em
But
all.
he's agreed to this. At least I think we think he's agreed to this.
Yes, yes.
Dude.
So-
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, those are the origins of the B team. Now, I just want to talk about like the only hero that I actually knew before this, because I'm not gonna pretend like, oh yeah, I totally knew him. But the only one I actually knew and was a fan of is Polka Dot Man, because they completely changed up his powers.
Oh,
Because
really?
he's a Batman. Yeah, he's a Batman villain. They kept his costume. Oh, and I just gotta say, I love the costume design in this one. I love that they put everybody
Yes.
in costume instead of,
Yes.
here, you all get military scrubs. No,
Yes.
they got their costumes.
Yeah. That reminds
But
me
anyways.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, let me just say this real quick. So Pokemon Man's original power was that he was a super genius, where his polka dot suit is he can turn anything into polka dots and put on his suit. So it's like, haha, you have me cornered, Batman, but this polka dot is a gun! Oh, you think I'm stranded? Well, guess what? This polka dot is a boat! Oh no, we're not in water. Well, this polka dot is a helicopter.
Wow.
That sounds like Hermione's like purse.
Yes.
The one that has like the void, the
Yes.
infinite void in
Yes.
it. Like it just sounds more organized.
Yes.
though.
Yes.
you
know.
could find
So-
it. Yeah.
That was literally the only hero that I knew before this movie, because like I said, I'm a Marvel boy, not a DC boy, so I'm not gonna pretend like I knew everything. But I did know Polka Dot Man because he's one of my favorites of all time.
Well,
Now, I will
hey.
say, as a mom, I just wanted to hug him, but he probably would not appreciate that because he had some mommy issues going
I would
on.
like to see. I would like to see though how he actualizes that, right? Because I mean, you weren't black, so it'd just be like his mom, but in blackface.
My blackface.
They literally just hired a woman named Deborah. That's all they did.
Dude, those scenes where he's like, "So where's your mom now?"
Everywhere. You sad little man. Give me a
I know.
hug.
I know,
The
Jesus.
depression, the superhero.
Yes.
Yeah, like
I love in the beginning, Calendar Man calls him a pussy.
oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't realize that was Calendar Man on my first watch through. I was like, why does he have tattoos randomly on him? Like, what the fuck is this guy? And then I was like, oh, those are dates. Never mind, that's Calendar Man. Like, the only reason I know about Calendar Man is that I've been watching the Harley Quinn like animated series, which if you haven't, it's so fucking good. But Calendar Man is like in it, and like they use him as kind of like a punchline where it's like, hey, Calendar Man, how long has it been since Harley Quinn, was told by the Joker that she'd get broken out that night? And he was like, it's been exactly 23 days, 7 months, like 7 hours and 12 minutes.
Now, I do appreciate DC's creativity when it comes to these stupid ass names that they have.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's a lot of like detective comics, right?
Yes,
when it first
yes.
came out, was really for kids.
Yes.
Marvel was kind of appealing to a more broader base before the comic book code kind of came in.
Yes.
Because in the 1950s, we had this like, morality panic where people were like, oh no, they're wearing blue jeans and white shirts and leather jackets. They're gonna start snapping at us or some kind of fucking shit. But like.
I love the Grease reference, by the way.
Well, no, because that's like, what was it? At Kingwood High School, my old high school, we were not allowed to wear blue jeans, white shirt, and leather jacket because it was gang affiliation.
Oh, wow. What kind of game?
Greasers. So there was
Oh,
like,
my gosh.
yeah, there was actually
White people problems, basically.
Oh my god, yeah. But still, hey, we had 3 black people there. It's okay.
Well, now, could they wear blue jeans and a white T-shirt and a...
They
and
couldn't wear red or blue. So. Dude, speaking of red and blue, I love that scene where Bloodsport and John Cena go fucking ham
Yes.
on the rebels. That's
Yes.
one of my favorite. That's my
Resistance
favorite
fighters.
fight scene. Yeah,
Yes.
like him just going through and like they're trying to like compare essentially metaphorical dick sizes, like of how well they can actually kill things, right?
Oh,
So-
we already know John Cena was backing. They did not hide that in the movie.
Oh, Lord.
that-
That image. This man... Well, I must say...
Yeah.
He's just weird looking. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is about him, if it's the muscles or the face shaped or just him as a person. Whenever you see him, you're like, you are not put together very well. I don't understand it.
I think it was because of a career of getting punched in the face for a living. that might be it.
Well, I mean, because, like, what is it? The Rock also kind of looks a little wonky, too. Like...
That's a fine-ass man.
I'm telling you, like,
Look.
He's got, like, what is it? He's got, like, essentially what I would feel like are just giant Idaho potatoes on his biceps and that kind of stuff. And when I look at him, don't get me wrong. If he was like, hey, you want to go out? I'd be like,
Yes.
why me? Why? Obviously, you have very bad taste in people.
Of course you would say that. I would say yes. Do you want me to wear my white thong on my white butt?
I wouldn't. Like, for the longest time, The Rock has reminded me of the Pokemon Golem.
Oh my god. No, he reminds me of Machamp. You know, the like
Machamp.
the like buff Pokemon, the weightlifter Pokemon, yeah, with his
makes all of-
Oh my
Speedo.
gosh.
And it makes all of us look like Machop.
Dude.
So I must say, some
No, go ahead, go
there was
ahead.
some misinformation here. So did we not like Aquaman?
No, I like Aquaman.
Okay.
I
I don't
haven't
like
seen
I don't
the
like
Aquaman
Amber,
movie yet.
I don't like Amber Heard, but I like Aquaman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to,
No, because Jason Momoa is fucking great.
Look.
Like he played like what is it in Game of Thrones, and he did a
Yes.
bunch of other fucking shit. So he's obviously really talented.
I judge my movies based on how fine I'm just kidding. I
My strong opinion is shallow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're coming on 30 minutes. We're gonna
Yes.
we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back to talk about the hottest member in the Suicide Squad movie, King Shark Nanui. Those pecs.
Num num.
Those
Num num.
those manly fish pecs. All right, be back in a second, folks. Read book. Book enjoy.
Num num.
Bird. So, of course, none of us are as talented or as handsome as the Italian stallion, Sylvester Stallone. But we absolutely love King Shark for so many reasons.
Yes.
Mr. Stanley, would you like to sing his praises?
Okay, so I have to honestly say that, like, as someone who, like, in the Harley Quinn series, there are two characters that I love beyond all reason, right? I love Poison Ivy, mainly because Savannah says that that's basically me, just in cartoon form. And then I like King Shark, because Ron Funches basically adds this goofiness to a character who's literally, like, the son of a god of sharks, right? He is the god of sharks, and then he gives birth to Nanoe, who's, I guess, also a god of sharks. And they just, it's so interesting. You think he'd be more serious, but he's like, nah, dude, I'm just like a nerdy tech dude that, like, happens to be a villain in the show. And so having King Shark, like, kind of contrast to where he's, like, essentially Sylvester Stallone, but just in a CG suit, is really interesting, because I don't really think that, what is it? Because you can see the goofiness in King Shark, like in Stallone's portrayal too. It's just a different kind of goofy. He's just like a child,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
maybe this is like before Nanoe or King Shark gets like educated and gets his IT computer degree or something like that. But still, like, I did not know that Sylvester Stallone could actually be like have comedic timing, and could actually do voice work like that, right? Because he's one of those people that I've been kind of thinking about a lot recently, because people keep bringing up the fact of like Rambo 3. There's like an end credits scene in Rambo 3 where it's like to our brave Mujahideen fighters in Afghanistan. And there's like one point where like Stallone is just on a horse, and this Mujahideen guy's like, first it was the Mongols, then it was the British, and then the Russians, and you know what happens? Now it's the Russians. Because like this movie was made in the 80s, right? So obviously it's dated a little bit, but Stallone's just sitting there, and the guy just like, so do you know what this means? And Stallone goes, yeah, you don't fuck with people. And I'm just like just doing his like. You don't mess with just like his what would you call that? His I wouldn't
his
even say
dumbassness.
Like I don't know.
He's almost like a child that
Dude. Then he's the perfect person.
And
to voice
only
King
could
Shark.
only speak in just kind of this monotone, few words. No big words for him. So
I'm not sure I've ever seen Sylvester Stallone with a closed mouth. Not saying he talks a lot.
That's so
Not saying he
fucking
talks
true.
a lot.
Dude, that's
But
so fucking true.
he has his mouth open all the time.
Yeah, dude. Like, now that I think about it, I'm trying to think, like, the only time he had his mouth closed was before he said, like, you don't fuck with people kind of moment. And he just kind of, like, he, like, sauntered his head over and he was like...
but
No.
he always plays.
Clever.
He always.
Clever.
We're just-
Sorry, go ahead.
He always plays these characters where no big words are used. There's no really any type of intellectual conversation. Marion.
Dude, I was about to bring that up. I really was about to
all
bring
his
that up.
movies, it's almost like he had all these brain injuries, and
Maybe the movies weren't movies for him. Maybe he was an actual boxer and then just kept getting punched in the head.
maybe.
I was literally about to say
Maybe.
he never recovered from that fight with Clubber Lang. His jaw's been open ever since.
Dude, so would you like to hear something interesting about like where I lived? So I lived in Kingwood, which is obviously like the just fucking richest of the rich neighborhoods in Houston. One of the people that lived there was, no joke, George Foreman. And George Foreman all had kids, and all the kids' names were George.
Yes.
Because
yes, I know.
he had been hit so many times in the head, he doesn't want to forget any of his kids' names. And so he just named them after himself so he wouldn't forget. And I remember, because I went to school with George Foreman's kid, major asshole, when I was a kid.
Of course.
But I guess he got better as he grew up because he became nicer. But his just one of those things of George Foreman, like, I've met him before, and he has the same kind of thing Stallone has, just that.
I'm a dumbass.
Yeah. I've been punched. I've had CTE way too many times, right? I literally have cranial traumatic encephalopathy.
Yes, and I
right?
that's how he just speaks. Like, he just has brain damage, like every movie.
Yeah.
You know what? And also, thank you, George Foreman, to bringing shedding a light to a Mexican culture where everybody's named after the father. For real life example, the father's name is Luis, so we got the son, Luis, the daughter, Luisa, the other daughter, Lois, and the other son, Sewell, which is Luis spelled backwards.
Damn. Okay.
Oh my
Oh
God.
shit! I forgot there was something in my notes that I wanted to kind of like look at. So,
Sure, what's
when
up?
I was looking at it, what was it? It started off with Michael Rooker always plays such a good fucking like criminal.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, he's just going to forever be typecasted as a fucking scumbag. Like in The Walking Dead, he was a meth dealer. Like, that's it. And then in, what was it? The Guardians of the Galaxy, he was a fucking pirate.
Yes.
And then now he's,
But a lovable pirate.
a lovable pirate, yeah. The one thing that I did kind of like about it was the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this movie was fucking great. All the music fit like where it was supposed to go. I always felt like the 2016 film with 21 Pilots was weird as a choice, right?
Okay.
Because remember, 21 Pilots was going for like they were trying to get that edgier things because
Yes.
they released that song Heathens.
Yes.
And I like it, right? Don't get me wrong. Heathens is fucking great to listen to, but it just didn't fit with the first Suicide Squad film. It felt like they were trying too hard. And then they were like going from like Heathens to who was there, or what was it? Rick Ross.
Yes.
And doing, what was it? Purple Lamborghini, right? Like, how do you go from Heathens to Purple Lamborghini in like one
random songs
fucking
together.
take, right?
Yes.
But the soundtrack had consistency in this one. I kept
It was
going.
all
"Ooh."
rock.
Yes.
It was, and I was just like, "Ooh, that's a good song. Ooh, that's a good song." It wasn't even all rock because they had a big band jazz play
Yes.
during Harley murdering the shit
Good
out
point,
of everyone.
yeah.
Right.
Good point. The Lonely Gigolo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, And it's funny that there was a song from the 1950s that you have to search for called "The Lonely Gigolo" in order to fucking like know it, right? But I like King Shark, awesome. Harley Quinn, holy fuck.
Oh, that's
dude.
a whole episode to itself.
Oh my god, like we might need to do a part 2 just on
Yes.
fucking Harley Quinn, right?
Maybe.
So, dude, Harley Quinn, every single scene that she's in, she steals the show. No matter
amazing.
who she's with in that scene, she steals it.
Which
Like,
makes you wonder, why was she part of the B team?
That is a good question.
That made me want from the beginning. Why was she part of the B team?
So my thing is that they originally were supposed to be a distraction, right?
Okay.
But Blackguard, yes, Assassin's Creed video game Black Flag
Yeah.
You mean
sold them out.
Bloodsport? Or, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Blackguard, Pete Davidson's character,
Yeah.
sold them all out.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Because I would think
So
that they
I
would
have-
put her with the strongest team to get a sense of a higher percentage of success because she's a badass, right?
Right.
But the thing is, because the B team, it was full of not nobodies, but not exactly A team material, right?
Yeah.
Because when I listed off their powers, they're like, okay, I can see some tactical advantage, but
Yes.
not much. Because everybody on the other team, although maybe not superhuman, like Bloodsport and Peacemaker.
Yes.
But they were definitely much top tier.
Yes.
And Harley Quinn, along with Rick Flag, can't keep up with those guys,
You don't
right?
think so?
I think they can.
Oh,
Being psycho can't be a superpower.
Bloodsport
I
and
mean-
Peacemaker? Probably not, even though, well, good point. Rick Flag did fight Peacekeeper, ultimately died, but did hold up in his own.
No, he was about to
But-
murder the fuck out of Peacekeeper,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Like, it's
Yeah.
it's one of those things of just like that fight scene had such good cinematography. I loved that they filmed it with the helmet reflection. Like that that's really good. And I mean, if I were going to go too deep in it, which I always do, right? I would say it's almost like a metaphor of like, you know, what is it? Because if Peacemaker is America
yeah.
and Rick Flag is the like American soldier, right? That don't do it. Then it's
I was just
basically
about to bring
America's
that up,
treatment of
Yes.
like soldiers.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But bringing that point
It
up.
was the American people versus the image of America
Yes.
itself.
Oh,
That's what that fight
look
represents
at
to
you
me.
being just
Rick Flag being the person going like, I'm not taking
Yes.
this anymore. I wanted to serve my country, not clean up its messes.
Yes.
And that feels very much like, especially for millennials, that feels essentially like Iraq and Afghanistan. And that feels like the conflicts that we've been getting into. A lot of people who were my age when they signed up for the military wanted to, quote, serve the country. And there was a fuck ton of propaganda going around in 2001 and
Yes,
around
there
that
is.
time
There-
too.
yes, there is.
Like, what is it? Have you seen the YouTube videos where like they show Disney Channel actually promoting propaganda? Where Disney Channel like has Lizzie McGuire and she's like, I just saw all the flags and I thought that America was great. And then they had the girl that voices the Proud Family and she's like, it's just great. You can be in America. The flag to me just represents like amazing awesomeness. And
Look.
then you have
They had to use everything they had in their arsenal, you know?
and Disney manipulating millennials and you know
Yes.
was one of the ways to do it, I guess. Yeah, because I remember those commercials. Savannah showed me those commercials, and I was
I can imagine an episode of Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse where he's like, oh, poison gas! Oh, Toodles! And then Toodles flies in, and you can select between an AK, a hand grenade, a poison mask, and of course the secret Maskatool, which is a USB drive.
Oh, I was gonna say it's just a what is it? Just an ice cream scooper that's extra sharp. You just scoop
child
some
hostage.
eyeballs. Yeah. Dude, I found a lot of metaphors in this that I was kind of like, am I overreaching here? And then I'm like, oh wait, it's James Gunn. I'm probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Like with Starro, where it's basically like, there was a point where he said, or she, or it, or they, you know?
Yeah, because I think Starfish are agendered.
Yes.
Right.
But just kind of said, I was happy floating in the stars.
Yeah.
I was just happy.
yeah.
Yes, I was happy floating in the stars. But then here's these evil ass motherfuckers
Who took me and
me
then tortured me
yes.
for 30 years.
So this is basically like a metaphor for America getting involved in these things that turning into this big thing and turn these countries into your enemy that were originally not your enemy.
Damn. And that's a really interesting thing, a really interesting take, especially for right now.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
Because, yeah, I mean, what is it? Like, America has a fucking history of intervening in South American countries.
Yes.
And I thought it was really funny that James Gunn decided that it was like, hey, we're sending the Suicide Squad to clean up a mess that we made in South America. Because, you know, why the fuck not, right?
America.
I mean, what is it? What was the day that I sent you, like, the whole thing about, like, where JFK was even like, oh, yeah, communism should have, like, the revolution happened because, like, the you know, Batista regime was so awful.
Oh, summer reading.
Oh, yeah, I know. Right.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, I was, like, telling Dinette, I was like, yeah, like, one of the things that was kind of interesting to me is someone... pointed out to me when people get mad about fleeing from a country, you should always ask them, well, what were they fleeing from?
Yes.
Right? Because not everyone left Cuba.
Yes.
And not everyone left, like, the countries that America intervened in. And it was one of those of, well, then those were the countries where the people who left had some kind of money or some kind of thing that they could use.
Yes, we're talking about that. It's usually the ones that are more well off that's able to leave the countries.
Right.
Because don't get me started on Haiti. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, I would hope so because you're Haitian.
I mean,
but...
hey. But it is the ones that are usually more well off and they could leave those countries. But they are the ones that are mostly, you know, more judgy.
It's true,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That is very true.
Yes.
I mean, we do have a coworker who is very judgy, and he's from one of those places. But still, yeah. No, I like the setting. I like the whole thing. My favorite part, my little favorite subplot, was Harley Quinn and the guy.
I always say when I've met a man that
If
I
there
would
were
just
any
met
red
her.
flags,
Yes, I would just
kill him.
murder him. I would.
Big emotional maturity for Harley Quinn that I appreciated because, like I hated her. I know y'all said she was great. I hated her in the original Suicide Squad because
Really?
for the way I've always known Harley Quinn is, yes, she was always a subordinate to the Joker, completely loyal, you know, goofy at times. But there have been a ton of subplots where her and the Joker separate. And yeah, she's an emotional wreck about it, but she is a very smart, very dangerous woman, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I've always remembered her. Separated from the Joker, she's this very intelligent, dangerous woman who should not be toyed with. And they only played off the what's it called? What am I trying to say? They only played up her goofiness in the first movie. In this movie, I like how they it was established like this is after the Joker and after Harley Quinn has matured, well, with dealing with the breakup after the Joker, right? Because she was truly in love with him, even if it was in a sick way. So I really like how they played her off as an intellectual, even though she was jokey, but she wasn't over the top jokey like she was in the first one.
I mean, she got
Like
her doctorate. She got her doctorate in psychology, right?
So
Yeah,
she's
no,
obviously
she's-
not a
she's
stupid
super
person.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. She I think even at the end of the first movie, you kind of saw her growth through where she kind of saw where the Joker just you would leave her behind, type of thing, and
Yeah,
and you
after
saw
the helicopter crash and he dipped out, she
Yes,
was
you
like,
saw her growth, and I really appreciate. I would murder him instead of, I would just leave him.
And it'd be like, Harley, and I'd be like, why are you screaming? Like an actual crazy person's argument.
Yep.
Like, honestly, it felt like watching like one of Alex Jones rants where he goes on and it's just like he's trying to make a point, but then he goes into something completely outside of what the topic is. And
Oh, my favorite Alex Jones quote. What do I do, Lord? Corrupt the children.
no, yeah.
Them all.
Oh my god. My favorite Alex Jones one is that, like, and they play this on Knowledge Fight all the time, is like if you spend so much money, you get all the clips. And one of the clips is like Jar Jar Binks has a black Caribbean accent, and
I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna have to. I'm legit gonna time when that happened. I think I might have to edit that out. That was super loud.
Oh, really? Was it super
Yeah,
loud?
but no,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. No, let's keep going.
Okay, great. Because, I don't know, man. It was just the whole thing with him and her. You're like, okay, great. Like, kudos, Harley. Like, obviously he was really good looking. And obviously now he's in a lot of money.
Was he weird to you?
Was he weird to me?
Because I really thought he
No.
was using her, but he was really
I think
into her.
Nah, he was
going-
just European.
Yeah, he was.
I'm going to give him the same advice that my great uncle told my dad.
Yes.
Which is, be careful. A hard dick has no brains and very few conscious.
Yes.
Because
yes.
he obviously is using her because she's anti-American,
Yes.
right? But then obviously then he has sex with her and now he's more attached to her.
Yes.
And it's because, dude, you're just horny, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And who
It's
knows
okay.
what having sex with Harley Quinn would look like, right? Because, well, obviously
okay,
things
man.
would be on fire, right?
Yeah.
But
Just smoke a cigarette, go out, play with your birds. Think about it, all right?
yeah.
You don't have to marry her right now.
dude, what's up with the death of the birds?
The birds.
Not just like the parrots, but even in the beginning scene where they're playing Johnny Cash.
Yes.
And, yeah, he just kills a bird out of the middle. I'm just like, okay.
Not sure, but a bird did feast on his neck flesh
Yes.
later, like 10 minutes later.
And then they just killed the birdies. What was...
Because, like in cinema, there's a rule in cinema where it's
Yes.
like you don't show something unless it has specific purpose.
Yes.
Because then Key Shark
Oh, yeah.
just like, bird. Right? And then there's nothing with that. Right?
Well, I think that was just comedic, but I like that you bring that up because another rule in the cinema is the kick the dog moment, right? And that's when you show the villain all by themselves, all alone, just do something sadistic, just to show off that they're a sadistic person.
Yes.
For example, in freaking No Country for Old Men, one of my favorite movies, Antoine Chagrin just shoots a bird for no reason. He just leans out his window. He's just driving at night. Nobody's there. He just shoots a bird because he wants to kill a bird. A kick the dog moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he also carries around with him like a canister of gas and a cattle prod. So obviously, he's not like the nicest person. Although I will say though, like off topic a bit, that scene with the quarter in No Country for Old Men is one of my favorite movie scenes in cinema history. Because
movie.
if you ever want to know what a masterclass of tension looks like, the Coen brothers killed it in that
Yeah.
scene. It was like,
Yeah.
don't put the thing in your pocket, because it's like he's not actually saying he's going to murder this person,
Yes.
but the cashier gets it, you get it, but there's nothing actually there that would warrant anyone to be really concerned about
Yes.
this on the script.
Yes.
And that's how good this and that's how good
good
he
movie.
was. I
Yes.
think he's actually a Spanish actor, if I remember correctly. Anyways, this is not about that movie, although we probably should do that movie later on down the line.
I'd be delighted to. Also, one thing that I wanted to bring up is that they 100% changed Ratcatcher's character.
Yeah, and I liked it though. Although it reminded
So,
me a
I was
little bit
gonna
of
say-
Olivia from Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I did have to
Because I would like to think that Ratcatcher was a fan favorite. Just a really sweet girl, lovable, a little bit quirky, just a person that wants to spread love and just got in jail because she robbed a bank. Not something fantastic, but in the comics, his name is Otis Flanagan, and he's just an asshole.
Yeah, well, because
He's
they
"Fuck
show
fuck you, Batman! I'm gonna have my rats eat that orphanage."
Oh, think of the kids. Oh no. No, not the children that no one wants because they're above the age of 1. Right? I don't know. Still, I think they called her Ratcatcher 2 because they were trying to get a distance from that one, right? Because I think the one that you're talking about is her dad. So the one that was the dick is her dad. Because
Oh no, they are completely unrelated.
yeah, okay, well then whatever. But I mean, at first when I saw this girl, I was like, okay, why is she in jail?
Yes.
Right? Because everyone there, you can kind of guess, right? Like,
yes.
King Shark obviously ate a motherfucker.
Yes.
Right? And then, Peacemaker obviously murdered a bunch of people. Deadshot murdered a bunch of people.
Yes.
He almost killed Superman. Also, what was Polka Dot Man in for? Just, like, being a bummer?
I don't know, dude. But, like...
do you think he killed his mom? Because we never really know...
I'm not sure, though, because I don't think he did.
Like a bait type of...
Norman Bates kind of situation. Although seeing Starro
I want to say sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say sure.
You want to say sure.
You're going to say sure. Well, because...
Now I see her everywhere because I killed her.
Dude, you know what's something I just thought up of? Isn't Bloodsport Haitian? Isn't it weird that they're using a Haitian to go invade a Caribbean island?
Definitely not in the comics.
I know. He's
Definitely
not in the
comics.
Are you sure?
No, let me check. Let me check again.
Bloodsport? Because I thought his name's Dubois, and they pronounce it the French way and not the American Du Bois.
Du Bois.
Right?
That annoys me.
It's because you're Haitian, right?
Oh, Du Bois.
I get mad when people pronounce German names the American way.
Like my husband hates being called Guy.
So,
it's Guy.
It's Guy. Yeah. So should I call him Guy next time?
Yes.
Okay, so basically he was a mentally ill man who became super insane during the Vietnam War, was hired by Lex Luthor to kill Superman. And that's there are two other blood sports. Not Robert Dubois, Alex Trent, a fanatical racist and a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. And a third blood sport. Oh, and a third blood sport that is unnamed, but is not Dubois. So yeah, I guess that might be a possibility.
Mysterious.
He might be Haitian.
Yeah.
Oh god, Alex Trent, holy cow.
Well, I mean, it would make sense, right? Blood and soil.
Yes.
So Bloodsport, that kind of shit. I don't know. It seems a little race baity to me, but whatever. I mean, it's not like I did my thesis on like American racism. So.
What?
I mean, he was white in the comics, it seems.
Well, I mean, wasn't like a long history of like the Black or the Green Lantern? Wasn't he white, and then they changed it up to him, to the other character who's black, like in the Justice League?
John something. John Goodman? No.
Although it would have been
I thought
funny,
he was...
I believe.
because the original
John Stewart.
Yeah, the original Green Lantern was white, but then the ring was passed on to another, and that was a black person.
Yes.
Right? So,
maybe
it's just like the title goes to like whoever murders then, right? Because Bloodsport could be kind of like something of like, I'm Bloodsport, but then he's a mercenary, so then maybe he murders
I've become
the person.
Bloodsport.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
It's my mom says it's my turn on the blood sport.
We have Bloodsport at home, and you just see Will Smith as Deadshot. Yeah. Dude, I'm actually glad that Will Smith was not a part of this movie.
I was just going to say that.
Great minds.
Why's that?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, Will Smith, every line that he tries to do seriously, I can't do seriously. Like, when he was just like, so what are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad? Like, it just reminded me of just, like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
And he was like, oh no, Uncle Phil.
That's how I felt about After Earth that he did with his son.
Oh my
God.
God.
Like, he tries to be the serious soldier, like, dude, you're the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like,
he still has that goofy air about him.
But he was great in The Pursuit of Happiness. That was an amazing... He did really well in that one.
I've only watched that movie twice because I watched it the first time because my parents took me to the movie theater, and then I watched it a second time. And after the second time, I was like, I can't do this to myself. It hurts me to watch this movie. It's so bad.
He was great as, Ali.
Yeah,
There's certain things, but it just... The action hero type of... I'm just not feeling
Plus, like Deadshot is goofy, but he's not like...
Yeah.
What was it? It's either like you either go the goofy Deadshot or you do the super serious. And Will Smith was trying to like fence sit this one. So,
And
yeah.
you brought up a good point because he's like, "What are we, some sort of Suicide Squad?" Now, Suicide Squad isn't the actual task force name. The joke is that in the prisons where all these villains are being held, is they know that there's this program where they can be used to do stuff for the government, and if it's successful, they get time off their sentence. But they know that most people who go on these task force never come back.
Yes.
Thus, the name Suicide Squad. It's never an official name. It's just what the prisoners call the little task force when they go out. They're like, he joined the Suicide Squad. Let's
Yes.
see if he comes back.
weren't they supposed to have... Sorry, I have a question, right? So you know how, like, in the first movie, it was like, this is Katana. She has my back. Her sword traps the souls of, like, any that it strikes down.
Yes.
Where the fuck is she?
Yes.
Isn't she supposed to have Rick Flag's back?
What happened was she accidentally sliced her finger on the sword. And the rules are the rules, right? We gotta...
Well,
come
no,
on,
because
hop in.
like the whole thing is that like in the original Suicide Squad, they set it up as Flag is the only good guy in a group of bad guys, right? So like they could do shit to him even if they have bombs in their heads because they're fucking villains. So wouldn't it make sense that they would have someone which is another American agent like Katana there to back him up just in case? So then why did they just let Rick Flag go without Katana?
Good point. Because this movie's much better than the original
Yes.
Suicide Squad.
Yes.
This movie is much better than the
Yes.
original. Okay, yeah.
I was very surprised
honestly-
by his death, though. I really was very surprised.
What, Flag?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Like,
I
yeah.
loved it.
Like I had no feelings for this guy. Like I was like, it's a shame that your girlfriend was like a Mayan witch or something, but like because that was she was a Mayan witch, right, in the first movie, and then did she turn to normal or was it like I don't know.
What happened to her?
It's that she can let the Empress like temporarily control her. What happened was like the Empress was like, "Brother, help me," and brother's like, "Oh, let me just get your heart real quick," and so she can no longer control the Empress.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I was just kind of like because Flag was decent in the first one, and it really kind of shows how.
Do you think he was, though,
for the second one?
for the first one?
Yeah,
He
I
was
think he
a
was doing the
terrible
best he could.
person.
I think he was doing the best he could.
It
for
was
the
aight.
script.
Yeah.
I think there was
He
a
was
lot
aight.
of scripting issues in the
He
first
was a
one.
terrible person.
Yeah, but in the second one, like he's basically what we like quantify as like the American soldier, right? He is the metaphorical American soldier.
Yes.
You
no,
think
I
he's
don't
having?
think...
You think he's having his hangover moment where like the whole thing of serving the country and that opulence has gone away?
But he really felt that it was wrong. Like, he really did not know. He was kept in the dark.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's the typical hoorah soldier where America, ooh,
Yeah.
So I do think he had his moments in the second one. The first one,
Yeah.
he was just an asshole.
Well, I think it's because like maybe the actor was like, I got a second chance at this,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna fucking take it.
he was basically a person in the second one.
Yeah, he wasn't a one-sided like
Yes,
a
he was a
two-dimensional
person,
character.
yes.
And I like that, but I do have to disagree. He was the typical American soldier in the beginning that had a heart because he didn't know. He only found out because Tinker was like, it was you guys all along. Also, I had sex with the Starfish.
Dude, Peter
yeah.
Capaldi, if you don't know, Peter Capaldi did this old TV show that I used to watch on the BBC where it's him basically acting as like a press conference person for Parliament in the British government, and he just runs around and screams at politicians like in the fake TV show. It's like Veep but for Britain. And so him running around in like, this dictatorship and going, "Why did you kill my men?" And I was just like, oh shit, this is like a flashback to like 2001 when I was watching this on the BBC. Because, dude, Capaldi, he's an intense guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, his doctor was actually really good. And I thought it was interesting that he's like a doctor, like from Doctor Who, and then now he's playing a villain
Yes.
in like a superhero kind of flick. I don't know. But
Once again, back to the costumes. I like how they made him look like a freak because, like I said, original Suicide Squad, it was either edgy, horrible Joker or military scrubs.
Yeah.
In this one, you got your big costumes with the colors and the thinker. He had all those electrodes poking out of his head. He looked like a freak, and I really like that. That's one of the reasons that I love comic books and fantasy in the first place, because you can do whatever you want. Yes. So why try to have like these superheroes dressed in garb when you could have them in those beautiful, colorful outfits?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, my only complaint about Ratcatcher is I wish she wore her mask more often.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting how Ratcatcher's like, put your mask on, and then no one else did. And then all of a sudden, like, everyone's just getting taken over by the Starfish. And then, like, apparently Harley Quinn has, like, Deus Ex Machina help or something like that, where all of a sudden, or plot armor, because she's just swatting things away and that kind of stuff.
To be fair, Bloodsport's helmet was destroyed in the building falling.
Yes, it was.
Dude, his helmet was fucking badass, though.
Yes, it was.
It was dope.
Dude, when are we going to get to technology that helmets will fold in and out?
So, what I liked about Bloodsport is that James Gunn made the decision to make all his guns, in the movie, all his guns were a part of his costume, right? He picked his suit apart like Legos, and he was like, I'm building a gun, like Torbjorn from Overwatch. Mm-hmm. But in the comics, it was never like that. In the comics, he would just pull it out of thin air. But James Gunn was like, I like that, but let's make it look cool. So that's where he got the idea for him, like, having a Lego build-a-set guns just stapled onto his body, which I thought was badass. That one scene where they're about to go up against Starro, and he, like, pulls something off his suit. It's a pistol. He adds an attachment.
Yes,
all right, now it's a rifle. Mm-hmm. He adds an attachment. It's a shotty. He adds an attachment. Okay, looks like a rocket launcher. And then he adds a silencer to it that turns into like a
artillery thing. Yeah, it becomes like an artillery.
Straight artillery.
Yeah, I know. I also think one of my things that my favorite thing about that like whole scene is just like this synergy that he has, and you can tell like Idris Elba is just like a professional when he does his acting. And you can almost like be tricked into thinking that he believes that he actually is this person, because he didn't miss a beat with it either, right? And it just speaks to the thing of, I'm so glad that they decided to get A-list actors with an A-list script to make this movie. I don't know if I could take any more DC heartbreaks, honestly. Yeah. And I thought Ratcatcher, it was like, she's Portuguese, right? So the actress is actually from Portugal. And I was like, oh shit, like, you are now going to be introduced to a wide open American market for you, right? Because every European actor's big break is starring in a blockbuster film. Because then, movie offers and that kind of shit. Unless it's like Daisy Ridley in Star Wars, and then Daisy Ridley's like, oh my god, I have no movie offer actors. And I was like, well, it's because you played literally one of the worst characters in Star Wars, but this is not about that, right?
My favorite Star Wars, the one with Gylo Man.
Gylo Man, I mean, thick swallow. Dude, I don't know. Like, Adam Driver just is like, he's a wildebeest that became a person. Just those fucking shoulders, dude. Anyways, I'm off topic, but I love this movie. I thought it was good. It was relaxing. I thought it was the perfect way to like go back to work from the summer. It was a perfect summer ender, right? The cliff note to the summer. So
yeah, it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I was very surprised by the blood and guts and gore. But I still enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. It was basically like a, oh shit, that just happened type of thing. Like right off the bat on the beach. And
for me it was with Pete Davidson's face.
Yes, like it's like, oh, we're doing this. Once you got over that initial shock, it was really, really good. It was an amazing movie. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so after that initial shock on the beach, it was basically like, okay, well, we're going to do this. And it just,
And you're just there for the ride.
Yes, you're just there for a ride. It was an amazing movie. I really enjoyed it. The kids like it. It's a family.
Oh, did you watch it with the kids?
I did, not the daughter though. She's funny like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? She's like, okay.
She's funny like that. She was.
Yeah.
Oh my God, his face is gone. But
I'm sure Xavier.
He's just monotone.
He was positively unresponsive.
Yes, exactly. But it was a really, really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Way better than the first one. Although I did not mind the first one as a lot of people did. It was just
Same.
It was just kind of like,
okay. I was just looking.
I never
for
thought
something
about
to
it
turn my
again.
brain-
Yeah.
I was looking for something to turn my brain off.
Yes, I watched it, never thought about it again. But this one was really, really good. I'm hoping they continue this way. Maybe, possibly, a little bit, maybe.
Yep. And speaking to your guys' praises, here on Movie Butter, we like bringing up a bad review of the movie. And I was actually hard pressed to find a bad review of the movie that wasn't, some guy on Rotten Tomatoes with his own account, because from most critics or big websites, they had very positive receptions. The lowest one I saw was a 3 out of 5, right?
Okay. Wow.
So, instead for today, I have this is an opinion, one of the laziest forms of journalism, by Screen Rant, written by David Caballero. 8 unpopular opinions about the Suicide Squad, according to Reddit.
Oh, God. Okay, fucking fine.
You ready for some unpopular opinions? Did you know that Suicide Squad is structurally similar to the original Suicide Squad? Unpopular opinion. Did you know?
Okay.
Unpopular opinion. Did you know this is the first movie to give Harley a good character? Unpopular opinion. Did you know this has a really high Rotten Tomatoes score? And I'm just gonna skip ahead before I bash my head against this table. Unpopular opinion number 1. Did you know that Starro is a tragic figure? Like, I can guarantee that there is nobody who disagrees with that. That is not an unpopular opinion. Starro was a victim.
Yeah.
That was one of the big point of the movies.
Happily, watching the stars.
Well, you know what? David Caballero, be ashamed. This is not good journalism. Be better. You too, Screen Rant.
Damn. Well, I think with that, why don't we go ahead and end this, because we're at 1 hour and 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, absolutely. Okay. And I want to say a very, very, very thank you special to Dinette. You can find her rap album on Spotify at the Big D. I'm sorry. The Big Dinette.
The Big D.
The Big Dinette, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's called The Corruptible MILF.
Or is it The Incorrigible?
No, I am very corruptible.
Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, the next movie we will be reviewing will be in the episode description if you want to get a jump on the next episode. And as always, a very special go to hell to, I want to give it to Amanda Waller today. Stanley, do you agree?
I don't know if I could give it Amanda Waller today.
Who does your go to hell go to?
Who is the guy that burned all the fucking birds?
Oh,
yeah.
The general.
The general.
Yeah. The general. Like, we'll just call him General Batista, like Fulgencio Batista. Yeah, so, I don't know. He's probably already in hell. I don't know. So, we'll have to find out later. But hey, yeah, dude, go to fucking hell. Go to hell.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.